1 o'clock. Good afternoon, everybody. I am making sourdough English muffins. I'm using a recipe that I got from Cider Press Lane. I think her name is Kelly Wilk. Anyways, I've been letting this dough rest for a long time, like 5 days in the refrigerator, cold fermenting. And I use my discard for my dough. So making the dough, I've already made the dough by adding a starter. With this one, you use honey and milk. You add to it. So this isn't like a pure sourdough recipe, although it comes from the sourdough discard, right? These are my sourdough starters that I fed this morning. I'm waiting for them to rise so I'm gonna make some more dough. So what I'm doing now, I took the dough out of the fridge, I worked the surface with flour, and now I'm cutting them out. If you don't have a glass or a cutter, which I don't have, I tell you to have it like a ½ inch thick. You can use a measuring cup. It's exactly 3 inches. So what I do, press it down, cut it. All right, that. Then I can pull my muffin out. English muffin. I can pull the dough out. Otherwise, the dough sticks. This doesn't have a cutting edge. This measuring cup. But I'm using what I can. I wanted to use a glass. I had some glasses with a 3-inch opening. This is what your muffins look like. These are a little thin. They're supposed to be ½ inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them on top of each other, right? That way they're real thin. Now I have a ½ inch thick one. You want them to be ½ inch thick, right? Because we're going to bake these. The first ones I did were a little thicker. These ones aren't. So like I said, I'm using this 1 cup measuring utensil, set it on the dough, try and get as much of the dough as you possibly can. And what's going to happen, you're going to have leftover dough like this, your cuttings, right? And we're going to roll this back up into a ball, stretch it out, and get some more muffins. Well, this didn't come out good. Bench scrapers come in handy to help. Here's you can round it out if it comes out a little crooked, like that, right? Make it that ½ inch thick one. Set it on top of another one. You got it. Because this batch is supposed to make like about 12 muffins, English muffins. So I've been working on these since this morning. My wife and daughter are in the kitchen doing other things, so I'm trying to be considerate of them and not get in their way. So what you want to do when you get to the dough, try and get to the very edge so you have minimal, right? Get one more out of this guy. Round it out, shape it, right? That looks pretty close. I'm gonna call that a muffin all on its own. Okay? So, these are supposed to be like a ½ inch thick. It's usually about the width of your finger, I would say. 3, 6, 9, 12. It's supposed to make around 12. Okay, so what you do with this, the leftover, roll it back up into a ball, right? Throw a little flour down there on your mat, not your mat, that's not a mat, but surface, okay? Fancy, like those fancy guys. Throw it on there. Now you're gonna flatten it out. Kind of like pizza dough, really. because this is sourdough. Like I said, it's made from your sourdough starter discard. Let me come right back and show you what my discard looks like. Okay, so here's the thing about sourdough. Whenever you make sourdough, you have to have a starter. When you make your starter, you feed your starter. You feed it the same amount of water and flour, and that is called a ratio. Once you get your starter established and going, it takes a while. It can take up to 2 weeks, a month. So, having said that, I showed you guys my starters. Normally you name your starters. I love cooking bread. I like cooking bread. It's fun. Right? Sourdough bread is extremely challenging, like my wife said. Most people give up on it. Okay, so you take your starter. What you do with the starter is like a kid. You need to feed it, right? And if you keep the jar out, you have to feed it daily. So, like a kid, when you feed it, it grows, right? So when you feed your starter, it's going to grow. It's going to ferment, so it's going to get taller. And a 1-to-1 ratio. If you feed it a 1-to-1 ratio, for example, both of these starters that I have going right now, they're 150 grams. So it's got, when I started, I added the same amount of flour and water. I think I had 25, was it 25 or 45? 45. So I had 45 grams of starter, or 25, no, I'm sorry, 25. I had 25 grams of starter in there. So I put 25 grams of flour, 25 grams of salt. You feed it every day. When you feed it, because it gets so big, you have to throw some out or discard it, right? However, with your discard, there's people that never throw away any of their starter. They use it whether it's cold, peak, it's fallen, and that's the thing about starter. There's so many rules, so many ways to make it. There's people that are breaking all the rules and the ways of making it, but it is basically a journey that you are on your own. And it's nice to have a tutor or a mentor, right? But I did it. My sister that makes it was helping me, but she lives out of state. So with this starter, what you can do, you stretch it out, right? You want it to be nice and round and even. I think I might try to get like 2 more out of here, but I don't think I will, because I think I'm only going to get 1 more. All right? And this batch that I made, it had 100 grams of starter. You add a tablespoon of honey. You can also use sugar or maple syrup. It's got a cup of milk, 240 grams, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a heaping teaspoon of fine sea salt, which is 10 grams, and then you put dough on the board when you dust it, right? Because you don't want it to be sticky. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this, my cookie cutter, right? Not a cookie. This isn't a cookie cutter though. This is a measuring cup. I got my little English muffin right there. Okay, there's my English muffin. Now I got 1 more left. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shape it. Instead of trying to put this on it, right? I'm just going to shape it. Bring it together. What I can do, actually, you can roll it up like a ball, right? Like a tortilla. But you roll it up, flatten it out. Use that flour to help. This is going to be a really fat sourdough muffin. Okay? But that's okay. And if it's sticky, use the flour that you have on the board. Now you just basically make it round. Right? And you can take it and shape it. See that? You can take it and shape it, just round it. Alright? Gotta get it the right way. Patty cake, right? Patty cake, patty cake. So what I'll do, put that in there. you want to try to get your dough as even as possible, because that is it's going to be a muffin, right? An English muffin. I'll show you. I normally buy sourdough English muffins from the store for my daughter. My daughters and I, we all love sourdough bread, sourdough muffins. So I told them I'm still learning and on a sourdough journey, but I wanted to make muffins. And that's another thing about sourdough, I had so many fails that when I finally got to this point, it took me a long time. Let's get this out of the way so you can see what I'm making. Put this one here. Get it out of the way. So you guys can see. And when you have flour, and your sourdough stuff, try to put it in the sink. Put it in the garbage can. You can throw stuff away because you don't want to clog your sink. Alright? So, got my muffins here, right? Now what I'm going to do, I already sprinkled earlier, right? I sprinkled some cornmeal. Now you sprinkle the top of cornmeal. As you see, I have the really top of the line fancy schmancy duster that I'm dusting these with. Okay? Use what you got. It's nice to have all of the newfangled fancy equipment, but if you don't, you can use what you got in your house. So, I put them on the baking sheet, I sprinkle the top. Now I'm going to cover them with a towel and let them rise at room temperature for an hour. So I'm going to go. I'll come back in an hour and we'll take another look at it. All right? Thanks for watching, whoever you are. If you like the channel, you can subscribe to it. Have any comments, corrections, help, I'd appreciate it. So with that in mind, have a great day. God bless you, and I'll be back.